Yo, YouTube, it's your boy Jay Steph, man. We got a new documentary reaction right now because why is it cracking out Ireland, bruh? What is going on, right? So we got the full Hutch versus Kinahan feud. If I butchered that, I'm sorry. Explain. This is Ireland crime. It is cracking out Ireland, bro. Be sure to tap that link down below. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I might make this a two-part series because this video is long as hell. So I might do a 20-something minute first part and then finish off the rest with another 20-something minute video. So y'all get a little two-part. Y'all get a little extra upload. So yeah, we finna do that, man. Be sure to tap that link down below. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, man. Without further ado, shout out to Criminal Minds Uncovered, and we are here. Let's get it.
It's May 24th, 2016, and Gareth Hutch is walking toward his car.
2016, okay.
The 35-year-old father of one is just going about his day, not knowing that his life will end in a few moments.
Uh-oh.
As he steps closer to his car, two gunmen appear. Without warning, they open fire.
Is that them?
The first shot hits him in the chest, the second in his head. Gareth collapses, a few feet away from the car. His young son, Preston, watches in horror.
Oh my God, boy. Do you hear what this man is telling us? Bro, this is not... What? They just
An innocent
did that
child
like
forced
that
to witness the execution
in
of his
broad
father.
Day?
This wasn't a random attack.
What the fuck?
Gareth Hutch, a nephew of the notorious Jerry the Monk Hutch, was caught in the crossfire of a deadly gangland war that by this point had already claimed 6 lives, but would go on to claim many more.
Oh, this is
His
that
death
real mob
at
shit.
the hands of Kinahan gunmen was part of a larger retaliation,
Oh.
a direct response to the murder of David Byrne, a key figure in the Kinahan cartel, just months earlier. This wasn't just about turf wars or business rivalries. This was personal. To understand the feud that had claimed Gareth Hutch's life, you need to understand the two families at war, the Hutch family and the Kinahan cartel. The Hutch family, led by Jerry the Monk Hutch, had been a fixture in Dublin's underworld for decades. From the 1980s, they had built their fortune through armed robberies, heists, and illegal smuggling. As their wealth grew, so did their influence, eventually giving rise to a tight-knit criminal empire. While the Hutch crew had begun to diversify into...
This one of them families. You see them with the celebrities, popping they shit, suits on, cigars, man. Telling you,
legitimate business interests by the 2000s. Their roots were still deeply planted in the criminal world. On the other side of the war, the Kinahan cartel was an empire built by Christy Dapper Don Kinahan. What started as a small-time operation in the 1970s eventually grew into one of Europe's most powerful drug trafficking organizations, with a reach spanning Ireland, the UK, and mainland Europe. By the mid-2000s, their operations were global, with Spain and Dubai serving as hubs for laundering money and running illicit business. When Daniel Kinahan took over leadership, the cartel became ruthless. Unlike the Hutch family, which maintained a more family-oriented, close-knit structure, the Kinahan cartel operated like a corporate empire, with its own hierarchy and precise operations. The Hutch and Kinahan groups were not always enemies. In fact, there were periods of cooperation and overlap. Gary Hutch, Jerry Hutch's nephew, moved to Spain after a prison term and became an associate of Daniel Kinahan, effectively working within the Kinahan operation.
Wow.
He was even described as once having been Daniel's right-hand man.
Yep.
By 2014, Cracks in the alliance began to show. Tensions reportedly arose over suspicions of betrayal within the ranks. An incident in August 2014 hinted at the storm to come. An ex-boxer named Jamie Moore was shot and wounded in Marbella while training at a gym associated with Daniel Kinahan.
Why?
It turned out to be a botched hit. Moore was an unintended victim in what was believed to be an attempt on a Kinahan associate, possibly Daniel himself. This shooting in Spain was a precursor. While not officially part of the Hutch-Kinahan feud, it foreshadowed the violent mistrust bubbling beneath the surface. The real trigger, however, came the year after. Most sources agree that the feud truly began on 24 September 2015, when Gary Hutch was murdered in Spain.
What?
The circumstances around Gary's death and its aftermath set off the chain of revenge that continues to reverberate. Gary Hutch, 34, was gunned down late morning inside a gated apartment complex in an area of Marbella. A well-known Dublin...
Boy, you're not even safe in gated apartments, and they're finding they ops in another country. You're not even safe in a gated apartment. Them boys is finding you. I told y'all, bro. I told y'all countless times. This mob shit is different. This is not pop them 4 doors and run your op down. This is make calculated plans, finding your op in a different country, finding his gated community, getting access within that gated community, and getting him out of here. This is ridiculous, bro.
Criminal. Gary had been living in Spain for about 8 years after his release from prison. He had prior convictions for armed robbery. On that day, an assassin cornered Gary at the complex. Unarmed and realizing his fate, Gary reportedly pleaded for his life, but the gunman showed no mercy and shot him dead.
Damn.
Gary's close ties to both families made the fallout explosive. In 2014, he had fallen under suspicion. Kinahan loyalists believed Gary was a rat, an informant for Spanish police.
Oh, okay.
It was later suggested this allegation was false, but in the gangland world, even a rumor can be a death sentence. What makes the murder particularly tragic is that attempts were made to spare Gary's life. Behind the scenes, Jerry Hutch, Gary's uncle, negotiated with Daniel Kinahan to resolve the dispute peacefully. According to later court evidence and media reports, a deal was struck. As punishment for Gary's perceived treachery, another Hutch associate would take a bullet in a staged shooting. Incredibly, Gary's own brother Patrick Hutch volunteered to be shot in the leg by Daniel Kinahan, apparently to satisfy the Kinahan's demand for retribution without killing Gary.
Right.
This bizarre agreement, essentially a sacrificial shooting, did occur.
Yeah.
Patrick survived the leg wound.
Wow.
Additionally, the Hutch side reportedly paid €200,000 to the Kinahans as part of this agreement to spare Gary's life. Despite taking the money and staging the punishment shooting, the Kinahan leadership ordered Gary killed anyway. There was speculation that Daniel Kinahan personally ordered the hit after luring Gary with false promises of safety, though officially, Daniel has not been charged.
This nigga was lying to him. No way. That's how they do it in the movies. They be acting like, yeah, come to dinner. We're going to get you a little Italian dinner and shit, right? Then they like, nah, don't even worry about it. We'll pick you up and we'll drop you off home. Then after y'all eat dinner and your belly filled, now you at some random ass lake that you ain't got no business being there. They off you and throw your body in the river and you nowhere left to be seen forever. That's how the mob be, bro.
James Quinn, a Dublin criminal and Kinahan associate, was convicted in 2018 for involvement in Gary's killing.
Wow.
Quinn had acted as a lookout and helped the shooter escape. Notably, the Spanish court recognized the murder as part of the Kinahan-Hutch feud. Quinn received a lengthy prison term of 22 years, but the triggerman and those who ordered the job remained at large.
Yeah, I'm about to
In
say, they
Dublin,
not getting caught for
Gary
that.
Hutch's funeral was a tense, grief-stricken event. The Hutch family publicly claimed they did not want revenge, a message perhaps aimed at de-escalating the situation or avoiding further provocation. But
That's
whether
what it
or
was.
not Jerry Hutch wanted revenge at that moment, the wheels of violence were already in motion.
Yep.
The Kinahan side, fearing retaliation, was not about to rest either. Within 2 weeks of Gary's murder, the Kinahans struck at the Hutch family again, this time behind bars. On the 9th of October 2015, Derek Delboy Hutch, Gary's younger brother, was stabbed repeatedly while serving a prison sentence in Dublin's Mountjoy prison. Derek, a hardened criminal himself, survived the attempt on his life.
Wow.
It was later reported that a €10,000 bounty had been placed on him by none other than Christy Kinahan Sr. At this point,
The
late
father?
2015, a sense of dread gripped Dublin's underworld. Everyone knew that Jerry Hutch would not let this go unanswered forever.
You gotta get back,
Rumors
bro.
swirled that the Hutches were plotting revenge on Daniel Kinahan, who had retreated to the safety of his Spanish base. Meanwhile, Kinahan gunmen in Dublin seemed to be proactively targeting anyone linked to the Hutch family, trying to choke off any reprisal before it could happen. This pattern became evident in the next killing of 2015. As the year drew to a close, Darren Kearns, a 33-year-old criminal associate of the Hutch family, was shot dead in front of his wife in Dublin. Kearns had just left a Chinese restaurant on Black Horse Avenue when he was ambushed and killed. Investigators believe Kearns was targeted for a botched assassination on a Kinahan gang member sometime earlier. Like many early feud murders, no one has been charged for Darren Kearns' killing as of the latest reports.
Yeah. Yep.
If there was any doubt a feud was underway, the bloodletting of 2016 erased it. The new year would see an explosion of violence that shocked Ireland and made international headlines. On the afternoon of the 5th of February 2016, Dublin's Regency Hotel was hosting a boxing weigh-in event for a WBO lightweight title fight. Among the attendees were members of the Kinahan cartel, including Daniel Kinahan himself.
He was there.
Around 2:30 p.m., a group of 4 armed men stormed the hotel, disguised as police in tactical uniforms and carrying AK-47 assault rifles. The gunmen opened fire in a brazen assassination attempt.
It's over. It's over. It's over, bro. See, this is what I'm telling y'all. These niggas dressed up as police, Ireland SWAT, bulletproof vest on, helmet on, and a AK-47. Them boys pulled up in a caravan, parked outside, hopped out, bust through the door, and started letting off AK shots at a box weigh-in. Are you serious? Are you serious? This is crazy. What?
New Airhead Sour Bars. Start sour
Bro.
and stays sour.
This is crazy,
Armed
bro.
men stormed the hotel, disguised as
That is
For
crazy,
cover.
bro.
one of the attackers was bizarrely dressed as a woman wearing a wig. Daniel Kinahan narrowly escaped, as he had left the event minutes before the shooting started. However, David Byrne, 34, was shot dead in the attack. Byrne, a senior cartel member and close friend of Daniel, took multiple bullets and died on the scene, making him the first Kinahan casualty of the feud. 2 other men were wounded by gunfire but survived. The Regency Hotel shooting was an unprecedented act of gangland vengeance. Never before had criminals carried out such a military-style assault in broad daylight at a public event in Ireland.
That is crazy.
The gunman fled in a van, later found burned out
and
not far away.
Burnt that joint
It became
out.
immediately clear that the Hutch side had struck back ferociously for the murder of Gary Hutch. It was widely
I ain't
believed
gonna
that
lie,
Daniel
y'all
Kinahan
asked for it. Y'all asked for that, bro. I ain't gonna lie. RIP to everybody mentioned in this video. RIP. But y'all asked for that, man. I'm not gonna lie. Y'all offed his nephew and then offed somebody else, and you didn't even allow them to even like get back. They actually wanted to resolve this peacefully, bro. And you press that button. I get it. It's rumors that he was snitching. Just find out if he was snitching or not. Like,
was the primary target, and David Byrne was killed essentially in his place. The Regency shooting marked a turning point. The Hutch group proved they could hit the Kinahans at the top, and the Kinahans now had a very personal vendetta, the loss of one of their own. Authorities scrambled to respond. Within weeks of the attack, a special crime task force was established to focus on the Kinahan-Hutch feud. This unit, part of the Drugs and Organized Crime Bureau, set about preventing further bloodshed. A daunting task, as the feud was only beginning. Patrick Hutch, younger brother of Gary Hutch, the same Patrick who had been shot in the leg in the earlier failed deal, was charged with the murder of David Byrne. It was alleged Patrick was one of the disguised gunmen at the Regency. His trial at the non-jury Special Criminal Court began in 2018, but dramatically collapsed in February 2019 when the lead detective on the case died by suicide. With critical evidence in disarray, Patrick Hutch's murder charge was dropped. He walked free, and to this day,
he ain't die. That prosecutor did not die of suicide. I'm gonna tell you what happened, bro. I'm gonna tell you exactly what happened. I'm telling you, this is the mob. This is the mob. You already heard him. It was hitting licks on banks. They got money, bro. If you want to make a prosecutor go bye-bye, I'm pretty sure you can put in the order to do that shit, boy. This is the mob. This is the mob. Like, bro, I'm telling you, this is different.
no one has been convicted of Byrne's murder. Years later, in August 2021, Gary Hutch himself was arrested in Spain on a European warrant related to the Regency attack. He was extradited and tried in Dublin in late 2022.
Wow.
In a verdict that made headlines, Jerry was found not guilty of Byrne's murder. Two associates, however, were convicted of facilitating the shooting by providing vehicles. Back to 2016, and if the Hutch side thought the Regency attack settled the score for Gary's murder, they were gravely mistaken. The Kinahan cartel responded almost immediately and with brutal clarity. Just 3 days after the Regency shooting, on the evening of the 8th of February 2016, Eddie Hutch Sr. was gunned down in his own home.
They believe a 4-man hit squad was involved in this attack, and it's a relatively short distance away from the Regency Hotel, scene of last Friday's audacious attack, and detectives believe the two incidents are linked. Last Friday's murder is understood to have been retaliation for a murder in Spain last September.
Eddie, aged 59, was one of Jerry Hutch's brothers. Unlike some of the younger Hutch men, Eddie was not a violent gangster. He was a taxi driver by trade and considered a relatively innocent member of the extended family.
There's a fear in the community. But Mr. Hutch would have been a hard-working guy.
It don't matter though to the mob. It don't matter.
Late 50s, maybe
you,
early
it don't
60s.
Matter, bro.
Very quiet individual.
Crazy, man.
Went about his business, and to my knowledge, was not a player in serious crime.
Media described Eddie Hutch as a soft target, killed to send a message. Since the Hutch gunmen who did Regency were in hiding, authorities launched an investigation into Eddie's murder. But yet, as of latest reports, it remains unsolved, though it's widely accepted Kinahan operatives carried out the hit. Each side now had fresh blood to avenge, though notably, from here on, the Kinahan side would do most of the killing, determined to cripple the Hutch faction for good. On the 29th of February 2016, another man was slain in Dublin's gangland. Though this case has a question mark, over its connection to the Hutch-Kinahan feud. Vincent Ryan, 25, was shot in the head at close range while sitting in his car outside his partner's home in Finglas. Vincent was the younger brother of the late Alan Ryan, a notorious real IRA militant who had been involved in Dublin's criminal feuds before being killed in 2012. Vincent Ryan's murder was carried out by Kinahan gunmen, and indeed it occurred just weeks into the feud. However, not all sources agree it was part of the Hutch-Kinahan conflict. Some believe Vincent's killing might have stemmed from separate issues. In later court proceedings, it was reported that Kinahan cartel members were behind the hit, though their exact motive remains debated. The bloodletting continued into the spring. On the 23rd of March 2016, Noel King-Size Duggan, a 55-year-old close friend of Gerry Hutch, was shot dead outside his home in Ratoath, County Meath, north of Dublin. Duggan had just parked in his driveway when assailants...
It's cracking. It's cracking. It is cracking. And I know it's gangs like the regular gangs that we used to. I know it's gangs like that out in Ireland. But this other side of the crime, with the crime families and the mob ties and the mob families, it is cracking. It's so calculated. Niggas is getting dressed up in costumes. Niggas is flying drugs across the world. Niggas got hitmen and nobody is solving the murder. Prosecutors getting off so the case can be dropped. Like, do you hear what this man is telling us right now? Boy.
Opened fire through his car window, known as King-Size, for his involvement in cigarette smuggling. Noel Duggan was not a violent gangster, but he was a longtime pal of the Hutch family and had been seen in Gerry's company often. This was yet another blow to Gerry Hutch.
Damn.
His inner circle of friends was being picked off. The investigation into Duggan's murder remains open, with no charges filed as of recent reports.
This sounds like a movie.
April 2016 saw two murders just days apart, one of which tragically involved an innocent bystander. On the 14th April 2016, Martin O'Rourke, 24, was shot dead in broad daylight on Sheriff Street, North Dublin.
Wow.
Martin was a vulnerable young man with no criminal ties. The shooting was a mistaken identity case.
Damn.
The gunman had been hunting a Hutch target in the area and wrongly identified Martin as the target, killing the wrong man.
Like,
this appalling error highlighted how reckless the feud had become. Even civilians were at risk. Authorities later indicated they believed the shooter was Glenn Clark, a Kinahan hitman. Clark would himself meet a violent end. More on him shortly. Less than 2 weeks later, on the 25th of April 2016, the Hutch side suffered another loss. Michael Barr, 35, was shot dead at the Sunset House pub in Summerhill, Dublin. Barr, a known Irish Republican, was a friend to the Hutch group. Crucially, he was suspected of involvement in the Regency hotel attack, likely in supplying the AK-47s used or otherwise facilitating the hit on Byrne. 2 masked gunmen stormed the pub and killed him in a swift attack.
A Kinahan gangster and convicted drug dealer with 59 convictions here and in the UK. Christopher Slater's DNA was found on a mask and a runner thrown into the getaway car before it was set on fire. The following day, Slater flew out of Dublin on a long-haul flight to Bangkok via Dubai, which he had booked just 3 hours before on a suspicious mobile phone with no checked or hand luggage.
Wow.
Miss Justice Tara Burns said today that no rational explanation exists to point to his innocence and that on the DNA evidence alone, the court finds him guilty of murder. Slater is the 4th person convicted following the Garda investigation. His friend and fellow hitman Eamon Cumberton is serving life in prison for the murder, as is the 3rd killer that night, UK hitman David Hunter. A 4th man, Martin Aylmer, was jailed for 6 years for buying the mobile phones used in the murder.
That marked one of the few feud-related murders in which a perpetrator faced full justice. The feud's death toll had climbed steadily. In just 2 months after Regency, Kinahan operatives had killed 5 people. Most were in or around Dublin's north inner city, turning those neighbourhoods into flashpoints. The Hutch side was clearly on the defensive, their ranks dwindling as friends and family fell.
That right there is the sound of deliciousness.
And cue.
I think we're gonna pause it right there for part 1. This is gonna be part 1, and then we're gonna come right back at it with part 2. So just click on the next one. I'm gonna see y'all over there. Go now.